Good evening, YouTube. Home Theater Joe here, and I think we need to have a serious discussion about calibration. Before I do, though, you should probably keep in mind that I'm just a guy talking to my cell phone, so take it with a grain of salt. More specifically, I want to talk about audio and video calibration and why they're so important. Um, for my entire life involved in home theater, I always just thought or assumed like I'm buying one of the nicest displays out here. It looks beautiful on the showroom floor and it looks beautiful in my home. I'd always tweaked the picture settings with help from stuff like the Spears and Munsell HD calibration disc, and then of course the 4K benchmark disc. So just minor tweaks in the user menu. It wasn't till last year, beginning of this year, that I actually got to calibrate my first display. And while I'm thinking about it, thank you, Portrait Displays and Calman Home. Some people, listen, people can say whatever they want about the program. I love it. It does have its bugs, but it has brought the ability home for the consumer, for me, to calibrate my display the way I want to without having to have this crazy expensive equipment, and paying somebody else to come do it when, their time's limited too. So I'm not sure that they would spend the amount of time, say, I have on my display. And the biggest factor, the biggest deal here about this is it changed everything for me. It made such an impact on my display and visually the way I watch things that after years of having soundbar setups and not wanting to have, true surround sound because of all the speakers and mess, I knew I had to switch. I had to switch back and give this display, I had to do the display justice by allowing the audio to at least be comparable or near comparable to the video. Why do I say all this? For anyone that's watching this, if you're spending, if you're at a upper mid level or high tier display, it's my opinion that if you don't calibrate that display, you're wasting your money. It cannot be overstated. It must be done, in my opinion. Now that I see things the way that, or closer to the way that the creators intended, they're even more immersive and amazing and detailed than I ever thought. So just to have a beautiful display, that's one thing. But to have a calibrated, beautiful display will take your home theater, whatever it is, whatever level you're at. And me, I think I'm a beginner home theater guy. It's just going to take it to the next level, make it beautiful. And I think that also ties in with audio calibration. My whole life, I had a great, beautiful home theater system. I could go into it, but it's going to take a long time. It was great. I never calibrated it. So I just turned it on and listened. I had a good chance to listen to my 7.1 setup for a few days before I calibrated, and maybe even a week. I really wanted to get familiar with how everything sounded with just room correction before I calibrated, and I actually had the SPL meter sitting around for a little while before I decided to use it. But after speaker calibration, I can equate that to the video calibration. The audible difference that I was able to get through room correction, wipe-out room correction, and then just making sure that everything was at the proper level, or where I wanted it to be. In my case, I kicked up the center channel about 3, maybe 4 dB. And again, the audio calibration, if you're not running your room correction, it doesn't matter what you have. If you're not running your room correction, you're doing yourself a disservice. And if you want to take it one step further and purchase an SPL meter, and then verify what you need to, and then tweak minor things, you can do that. And everything I'm talking about here, excuse me for one moment, everything I'm talking about, LG or Calman Home, from Portrait Displays, learning curve there, but also audio calibration yourself. All of these things are very learnable. If I can do these things, anyone can. And I have learned very well over the last several months that even when I had a great audio system, and even when I had all these great displays, I never let them reach their potential. And that's sad to me. I mean, I've had plasma displays, edge-lit LCDs, fall displays, Color Track 2000, 480, tube TVs. I've had a lot of displays, and paid good money for most all of them, and never calibrated them. I had a great 5.1 channel surround system for more than a decade, and never ever ran a room correction or calibrated that system. And these things, they're here for us to do now. So if you're a guy like me and you're a budget guy and you want to do this stuff yourself and save some money, man, you can do this. I think that's been part of my home theater experience here is, I would be talking to my friends about it, and I enjoyed it so much, and talking to my people, they don't want to hear it. They don't care. Well, hey, I talk to my cell phone a lot, so here we go. I'm just throwing it all up here. And I really would like to get the point across to people, even if you have a small budget system like mine. It behooves you to put your equipment in a circumstance or a scenario that it can flourish, and you'll be amazed. And I think all that's doable for very reasonable money. A totally different discussion for a different time. I'm all about the budget home theater. And, okay, so look, we're not going to get into those weeds. The point is calibration. Don't sell your equipment short. And don't sell yourself short as the viewer. These experiences we can have with the properly calibrated equipment is something else. So, hey, if you're just a plug and play person, that's fine too. But if you're an everyday average guy like me that really wants to see the limits and experience the best he can out of what he has, well, then calibration is a must. So yeah, I think I should be done ranting about that now. Sorry, probably keeping you a little longer than I need to. And since the whole LG recent CX firmware update fiasco, the last 2 updates, I will be doing more calibration with the display. And I guess that'd be a good time to do like a little walkthrough or tutorial or something. So maybe that'll come in the future. Yeah, I guess that's about it. As always, thank you for listening. Be good, be safe. Boom. That didn't work. Boom.